What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. It is hard to believe that we sit here at 6-1 with only 5 games left in the regular season for the 2024 campaign. And I read some interesting comments this week, man. So somebody left a comment and said, this channel, they overhype everything. You set the expectations too high. And when you say they, I don't know if you're talking about me. I don't know if you're talking about a co-host. I don't know if you're talking about people in the chat. But I think for me, I look at what this football team's done, and I think a lot of people have been pretty critical of this football team. But still, here we sit at 6-1 with an opportunity to beat everybody left on the schedule. And yes, that includes Georgia, which leads me to another comment where somebody commented and said this team is a fraud. They're a phony. They're a fake. They're not as good as everybody's pretending. They're not elite. They don't belong. Probably going to struggle with Kentucky on Saturday. No chance that we beat Georgia when we got to go on the road to play the Bulldogs. Vanderbilt is tough. Look at Vanderbilt. They're going to be hard to beat. I feel like this fan base might kind of be all over the place. We can go look at the ESPN FPI, and I get it. Some people take it. Some people leave it. The ESPN FPI has Tennessee at a 68% chance of making the college football playoff, 91% chance to beat Kentucky, 94% chance to beat Mississippi State, UTEP, 99%, Vanderbilt, 81%. The only team that they don't favor Tennessee is that Georgia game. Going on the road to Athens, they give Tennessee a 40.2% chance. And I get it. The ESPN FPI is not everything. It's not the end all be all. And something else that some people take and some people leave is Pro Football Focus. They have their grades out for the first 7 games of the season. I think it's worth looking at. I think it's worth talking about. So we're going to get into it. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Just smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It helps the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not reporters. We're not journalists. This channel is all about being a fan. It's for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got a fun one coming up later tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Kyler Kirbyson, Reed Bacon, Pancakes and Bacon from Rocky Top Insider will be in the house talking Vol football with me and Coach Jay, so don't miss that. They're going to do a full show, just the 4 of us tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, so get in where you fit in. We'll be live Friday morning at 10 a.m. and then also Saturday an hour before kickoff and then immediately following the game. Back to business as usual, full steam ahead as we head into the final stretch of the 2024 regular season. Man, it is hard to believe, but let's jump over and let's talk about Pro Football Focus. They've got the grades out again through the first 7 games. Now, if you're not familiar with what Pro Football Focus does, here's how they explain what they do with their data. It says taking every play into consideration allows for a larger sample size of data to tell the proper story rather than just a highlight reel of plays that we tend to remember for better or worse. We also work to eliminate bias by not caring about the level of player who is being graded. So whether it's the best tackle in the league, missing a block, or one of the worst, the same grade is given. Preconceived level of ability has no impact on the grading system. This style has worked well in unblocking undervalued games throughout the years, while also not being swayed by player hype if it is undeserved. Each game, players are graded on a scale of 1 to 100. 90 to 100 is elite. 85 to 89 is all conference. 70 to 84 is starter quality. So remember that. Remember that when you see a grade of a 70 or a 75. 70 to 84 is starter quality. 60 to 69 is backup quality. Everything under 60 is replaceable. So let's take a scroll down here. And I thought this would just be a good conversation coming off of the bye week, heading into the Kentucky game on Saturday. Now, here are the overall team grades. Overall, PFF grades the Tennessee football team as a 90. That comes in as elite. Offense, 73.8. Defense, 90.5. Elite defense, which is comical because when I made the video about disrespect last week, some of y'all laughing saying, Boogie, did you see that EA Sports College Football 25 dropped Tennessee's defense? That makes no sense. If you're watching college football, if you're watching SEC football, you understand that Tennessee is playing elite defense right now. Now, something that did stick out to me that was interesting is run blocking. Right down here to 53.6% for run blocking. But if you look at rushing, 82.3%. So is this about Heupel's scheme? Is this about managing the box and playing the numbers game in the box to set yourself up for success running the football? And I'm not trying to take away from Jalen Wright. Look what he's doing in the NFL. I'm not trying to take away from Dylan Sampson, but does Josh Heupel set running backs up for success? We know that Josh Heupel wants to run the football, leading the conference in rushing yards per game. But then you've got a run blocking grade of 53.6. That tells me the offensive line is struggling to do their jobs at time. And again, this is Pro Football Focus. Take it for what it's worth, just creating talking points here. but it shows me that the offensive line is struggling to block, but yet the scheme sets up Dylan Sampson for success because there's limited guys in the box. If he can make a guy miss, then he can go make a play. But you're leading the conference in rushing yards per game, and your run blocking grade comes in at a 53.6. Run defense, 91, tackling, 76.5, pass rush, 78. Coverage pretty good, 83.5 for a secondary that everybody was questioning going into this game, going into this 2024 season. But let's go look at individual offensive grades. You can see right up here at the top above this video that's in the middle of the screen, Dante Thornton grading out at an 88.5, 153 plays. Now, something that I talked about when I went on Locked On Vols with Kaner, we talked about it last Wednesday when we were kind of recapping the entire season, is Dante Thornton only has 14 targets on the year. Of those 14 targets, he has 12 receptions and 3 touchdowns. I think on the back half of this thing, on these last 5 games going down the home stretch, I think Dante Thornton's got to be your dude. I think he's got to be your guy. I think you got to let him go make plays. I think you're looking for somebody in that wide receiver room to step up and be that alpha, be that leader, be that dude. And I'm not trying to disrespect Squirrel White, but if you're too hurt, if you can't go out there and you can't raise your arm above your head, if you're that beat up, if you're that banged up, I admire the toughness. I appreciate and respect the toughness of a guy that slapping that sign means something. I will give my all for Tennessee today. That's what Squirrel White is doing. But if you're hurting your team, somebody's got to step in and say, hey, sit this one out, get healthy, and maybe the bye week gets Squirrel back where he wants to be. But I think we're looking for that dude in the wide receiver room, and I think Dante Thornton can be that guy. I think looking at, again, 12 receptions on 14 targets is pretty impressive. Grades out as the highest player according to PFF. Now, it doesn't surprise me. Dylan Sampson right behind him, 87.8. And then look just below him, Deshaun Bishop, 81.6. What a great story for Deshaun Bishop, a guy that, I say it all the time, App State hat, Coastal Carolina hat, and a Tennessee hat. One of those hats is different than the other 3 when he made his commitment to the University of Tennessee. He bet on himself, and now that is paying off. Dylan Sampson, 838 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns. We're 7 games into this thing. He already has more carries than Jalen Wright did in the 2023 season. So does he have that? Can he stay healthy? Does he have that durability? That's something Josh Heupel talked about in his press conference this past week. He talked about the durability and Dylan Sampson getting his body right, getting his strength up and his frame up going into the season. But I think him staying healthy is going to be crucial. When you look at Deshaun Bishop, 366 yards on the ground, averaging almost 7 yards per carry. He's got 3 touchdowns, but he had 60 yards against Chattanooga, 42 versus NC State, 120 versus Kent State. Then we saw the carries start to drop off. He had 65 yards against Oklahoma, only got 3 carries in the loss to Arkansas, only got 7 carries against Florida, only got 5 carries against Alabama. And I get it, man. Dylan Sampson's a dude. Dylan Sampson for Heisman. Dylan Sampson is single-handedly carrying this offense right now, but we need him down the backstretch. So I think maybe we need to see a little bit more Deshaun Bishop to keep Dylan Sampson healthy. You can see Nico grades out at a 70. That might be a little bit higher than most of us expected. I don't know how you feel about it. He's thrown for 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Look, his stats, if you show me these stats before the season, said this is where he's going to be after 7 games, I would say we've probably dropped a couple of games, if not 3 at this point. I thought the defense would be good. I did not think the defense would carry this football team. I thought it would be a little 50-50 here. So Nico has to continue to get better. He's got to continue to improve. The one thing that really stands out to me is through 7 games, he's only got 179 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns rushing in the bowl game, only 1 touchdown through 7 games in 2024. I will continue to beat this dead horse. I want to see Nico run the football more. Offensive line grades are down. You can see Cooper Mays grades out at the highest at a 70. Andres Carrick, 65. And then you go on down the list. Spraggins at 58. Larry Johnson, 57. Dane Davis, 54. And then your 2 lowest graded offensive players here on the list are your tackles. And we say it all the time on this channel, the 3 most important positions, you got to have a quarterback, you got to have guys on the outside to protect the quarterback, and you got to have guys at the edge to get after the quarterback. And when your 2 tackles are grading out at a 49.8 and a 42.8, that is a problem. Our tackles have to be better. Rolling over to defense, no surprise at all. It is just a who's who. Josh Joseph, 90. Jamal McCoy, 84. Tyree West, Will Brooks. How about that? How about that story? How about Will Brooks being doubted by everybody, me included, right? I'm out at the front of the line leading the charge against Will Brooks. Show me some more Jacoby Thomas. Oh, by the way, Jacoby Thomas also grades out pretty good. James Pierce, right up there we expect. Elijah Simmons, Caleb Perry, Omar Norman Lott. Look, we can go down the list and rattle off a bunch of dudes because that's what this defense is. They are a bunch of dudes. The numbers for this Tennessee defense, they speak for themselves, what they've been able to do. Scoring defense, third in the country. Total defense, third in the country. Passing defense, only giving up 180 yards per game. Rushing defense, yards per game, they're second in the country. But yards per carry, 2.24 yards per carry for this Tennessee defense. That is elite. That is number one in the country. When you can win in the trenches, when you can win and stop the run, you just set yourself up for success, and that's what they do. Tackles for loss, they're fourth in the country. This defense is elite. They grade out at a 90 with PFF, which is elite. I think we all know it is a national championship level defense. If the offense can put it together, if the offense can start to click, they had a bye week to do it. They had a bye week to start to get right, get healthy. The offensive line, the tackles have got to be better. Is Lance Hurd finally in shape? You're talking about a guy that didn't practice a lot leading up to the season. You're talking about John Campbell, a guy that misses a lot of practice. Can John Campbell stay healthy? I think, honestly, we look a little better when Dane Davis is in there at right tackle. And somebody brought up a good point recently. How about John Campbell moving from left tackle to right tackle? We've seen him fall off some with that move. Is that impacting him in any way? But those are the Pro Football Focus grades through 7 games. Take it for what it's worth. I think it's interesting talking points. Jump in the comment section. Let's get into it. As always, make sure to smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. Without you, this doesn't exist. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, you can fix that. Hit that join button. Right over there beside subscriber, there is also a link in the description to do all of that stuff. Buy your merchandise, join the channel, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys. That is going to do it for this one. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m., Pancakes and Bacon. Go toe-to-toe with Talkin VAWLS. Should be a good time. But this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.